All right, I will do a countdown and we start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Tifat, I'm not sure why, man. So every question you see in this Kahoot is frequently asked. You must know the answers to all the frequently asked questions. It's Ludwig Holbier. I could see 11 of you got, no, wait, is it 11? Yeah, 11 of you got this wrong. Ganesh and Sifat, I'm not sure what's going on your ends, but I don't know why you can't answer the questions on your end. Maybe try and go out and come back in again, okay? Next one. All right, so it's ML, Dinem, Zohal, Kehus, Ricardo. We know all these people, but there's still a lot of questions to go. Ganesh, please don't write the answers in the chat, okay? It's Carl Nielsen, by the way. 15 people got this wrong. Now, what was I gonna say here? Don't worry if you're not getting these answers correct. These are just to expose your knowledge gaps, okay? That's the purpose of these Kahoots, to expose your knowledge gaps way before the test so that you could plug these knowledge gaps, okay? And there is material that you can use to plug this knowledge your knowledge gaps, and I will show you that material. On to the next one. Okay, Zohal has risen to the top already in the second question. All right, Zohal, Dinem, Kehus, Ricardo, and MUD, Mud. Not sure who that is. Konak is the highest climber, up 8 places. All right, next one. You just saw this. All right, not bad. Bear in mind that we just saw this. So pay attention to the questions, okay? Okay, so Dinem is now on top. Zohal number 2. Ricardo is on the podium at number 3. Mud gone up to number 4. Kehus dropped to number 5. Ahmad has a streak with 3 correct answers in a row, and he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. You've seen this before. You've been practicing. And if you've been coming to the Kahoots, you've seen this before. All right, not bad. Only 4 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Zohal is back at number 1 again. Then M, 2, Ricardo 3, Kehus now at 4, and Mud fell to number 5. 4 players have reached an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
We've got 41 questions to go. You just saw this as well. I just explained it. So I hope you all get this right. Okay, I guess only one person got this wrong, which is not bad. This is way better than the last time you saw this question. So round of applause to you guys. And this actually illustrates the point I was making, right? So you do the Kahoots or the quizzes, fail, find out what you failed at, plug that knowledge gap and come back again. And we could see that before, I think 5 or 6, maybe more than 5 or 6 people failed, but now only one person failed. And this one person, hopefully, now you know what you don't know. You plug this knowledge gap so the next time you see this question, you get it right. So next one. The Cahus is out. Mud now at number 4. Magu at number 5. And Hiral has the highest answer streak of 5. Hiral, I'm not sure if it's a guy or a girl, so round of applause. We got 40 questions. All right. Now you know what you don't know. For the 4 people that got this wrong, get to know. Magu is out. Cahus is back in. 8 players just hits an answer streak of 4. Next question. All right, only 6 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. What happened to Zohal? Anyways, Ricardo jumped over Din M to take the number 1 spot, and Zohal moved in the opposite direction and went to number 3. Everyone else stayed in their positions. Konak is back in the game with 3 in a row, and he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. This is one of those curveball questions if you don't understand it. Yes, 14 people got this wrong. So yeah, so the government cannot have a majority against it in parliament. That's the requirement, that before a government is formed, it cannot have a majority against it in parliament, which is the reason why you find minority governments, so coalitions. So the before Mette Fredriksen's government, which is the current government, there was a coalition between the Liberal Alliance, Conservative People's Party, Venstre, so the blue bloc. And now it's actually everybody in all the ministers are from the Social Democratic Party, and the Prime Minister is from the Social Democratic Party as well. Anyways, on to the next one. Zohal said he pressed wrong, so let's see what that's. Okay, so Zohal and Din M out. Mud now at number 2, Cahus A number 3, Magu number 4, NBA number 5. This was a combo breaker. 5 players dropped their answer streak of 5. Sorry, guys.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so we've got 37 questions to go. It's been enough time to make a comeback. All right, so for the 3 people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. For the people that got it right, I could see more and more people are consistently getting the answers right. So that's a good thing. Round of applause for you guys. Jin has the highest answer streak of 9, and she's on fire.
This girl is on fire.
All right, next one. Okay. For the 5 people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. Judges cannot be biased. And also they cannot appear to be biased, which is the reason why you cannot wear any kind of religious symbols in the court of law. Okay. A little movement in the top 5. NBA now at number 4. Magu has fallen to number 5. Rish, 22, is back with an answer streak of 3, and he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
We've got 35 questions to go. Hopefully you all get this right. If you do, I give you an explosion. So let's see. Okay, 2 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Static top 5, 13 players reached an answer streak of 3. All right. 3 people got this wrong. Make a note. 3 in a row. Manso is back in the game.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Okay, Akban, I will try. My policy is if less than half of the people get it right, get it wrong, then I don't explain. But for this one, I will explain, okay? So basically they're asking, when there's an election, when there's a parliamentary election, every citizen can choose to vote for whoever they want to vote for. So there's no obligation, there's no like rule saying you must vote for, if you're a member of a political party, you can decide, you can only vote for those people. That's what this question is about. And like I always say, right, it's good. I won't say it's just good. It's actually, you should read the question slowly. Make sure you understand what the question is asking before you attempt to answer it. I know this is a Kahoot and there is an element of speed to this. We're just doing this just to make that fun. But in the exam, you have, I think, about 1 minute per question. So that's enough time to read it like 3 times, understand what the question is about, and then go ahead and answer, okay? So that's my recommendation. Okay, so Ricardo, Mud, and NBA. NBA now on the podium. Magu moved up to number 4. K has dropped to number 5. 6 players reached an answer streak of 5. Round of applause. Okay, on to the next one. So this is part of the previous, this is like the previous one we just saw. It is free for everybody to go to school, including children. All right, static top 5. 5 players just hit an answer streak of 6. On to the next one. Okay, so there is no death sentence in Denmark, okay? So it doesn't matter what crime you commit in Denmark, you will never be sentenced to death. That's what that question is about. 5 players reach an answer streak of 7. Nothing is happening in the top 5. On to the next one. You've seen this before. This is about the responsibilities of either the state, the region, or the commune. The hospitals are run by the regions, and if you look at your yellow card, you will see that you'll see something like region Roskilde, or sorry, region Sjælland, or region Holstil. So that's what gives it away, right? Everybody has a yellow card in Denmark. 9 players just hits an answer streak of 3. On to the next one. Same kind of question. So what I would suggest is go to the book, the part of the book that talks about the commune, the region, and the state, and make a list of their responsibilities so they're clearly stated there, okay? For the people that keep getting these wrong, I can see 5 people got this wrong. The responsibility, the police is the responsibility of the state. Okay, static top 5. Ahmad has a streak with 17 correct answers in a row. Wow. And he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
All right, next one. Okay, LO stands for Lands Organization, and it's the part of, so in Denmark, there's no minimum wage, right? So the wages are decided by collective bargaining. And the Lands Organization is actually the one that represents the employees, and the DA, Dansk Arbejdsgiverforening, represents the employers. And they come together, they bargain, and then they set prices. Sorry, not prices, the wages for different areas, so different kinds of jobs in the society. That's why there isn't a minimum wage in Denmark. Okay, so Manso is back with an answer streak of 3. He's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
All right, next one. Yeah, Aarhus is the next biggest city after Copenhagen. Okay, Ricardo is on fire. He's number 1. We're not past the halfway mark though, so
Oh my! He's on fire!
just get that. Round of applause, man. So Ricardo is giving Zohal a run for his money. Zohal is nowhere to be found in the top 5. Right now it's Ricardo, Mud, NBA, Margot, and Kehus A. Amalienborg in Copenhagen. Okay. There are other residences outside of Copenhagen, but the one in Copenhagen is called Amalienborg. Next one. FSA is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Excellent.
We're almost halfway through. Only one person got this wrong. Well, this is self-explanatory. You have to respect other rules in society, regardless of the religion that you're in. Okay, next one. SD is making a comeback with 3 in a row. We've seen this plenty of times. All right, round of applause. Perfect score. You guys get an explosion for this. All right, there's been a shift in the top 5. K-Hus is now at number 4. Margot dropped to number 5. Mini ML just hits an answer streak of 5. Okay, so we are more than halfway through now. Okay, so the question is about what's the minimum age before a child can work outside home? And that's 13. You have to be 13 years old. You have to be 13 years or older to work in Denmark. Other than if you're younger than that, then it's classed as child labor, which is against the law in Denmark. Okay. Ahmad is back with an answer streak of 3.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. All right. Round of applause for you guys. Perfect score.
Perfect.
Static top 5. DSP has the highest answer streak of 24.
Excellent.
Okay. Next one. We saw this in the previous quiz that we just took. In the warm-up quiz, we saw this, okay? Hopefully you all get this right. If you do, another explosion is on the way. Okay, so in the previous quiz, which was the Melbourne Escapes poem, you see they didn't ask for too much detail. They just put in the 1500s. Here, it's clearly stated 1536 was when Reformation was brought to Denmark. For the 6 people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. This is, well, all these questions are frequently asked, but this has a very high probability of showing up in the test because this is actually one of the founding, one of the major turning points in the history of Denmark, the Reformation. Okay, 4 players have reached an answer streak of 17. Wow. It's a lot of players, man. Actually, that's a lot of streak. Only 4 players. Next one. Okay, Christian IV is the most famous king in the whole of Denmark and responsible for most of the, well, not most, some of the most popular buildings, like Rundtårn, Christiansborg, I think Borsen, and some others I can't remember at the moment. But it's Christian IV. He's the most famous king, basically. 5 players have reached an answer streak of 3. You just saw this as well in the previous one. Let's see how many of you get this right. Okay, so this is another one that you must know the answer to, okay? 5 people got this wrong. Grundloven is from 1849, okay? Not any other time, it's 1849. Okay, so Mud has a streak with 27 correct answers in a row. I'm not sure if that's a guy or a girl. So you get this.
Excellent.
All right, we have 18 questions and we're done. Let's see how you guys do on this. If you all get this right, explosion. I just explained this in the previous question. Frederick VII signed Grundloven in 1849, right? That's what this is about. So, like I always say, right, read the question slowly, understand what the question is about, and then go ahead and answer. So actually the previous question and this question are basically the same, but asked in different ways. Okay, moving on. Nads is out. CB is in. Razia is making a comeback with 3 in a row. Round of applause. Got 17 questions to go. Okay, so 13 people got this wrong. In 1864, that was the Second Schleswig War. Denmark lost, and they lost Sønderjylland. And this was a war between Denmark and Prussia, which was basically the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Germany, and well, the Austro-Hungarian Empire. They lost that war, and they lost Sønderjylland. In 1920, after World War I, when the Germans lost World War I, Denmark got Sønderjylland back. Okay, so those 2 events are connected. This was the beginning, and that was the end. So keep that in mind. For the people that don't know now, you know. And next time you see this question, hopefully you know the answer to it. Okay, so CB is now at number 4, Magu number 5. 3 players have reached an answer streak of 21. Wow. All right, next one. Okay, so the question is, which of the following political parties is the oldest? Dansk Folkeparti was formed in 1995. Socialistic Folkeparti was 1950 something, I think. And the Conservative People's Party was actually in the 1800s. So it used to be called Højre before it was renamed to the Conservative People's Party. So take note of that. This question could show up, but there might be different parties. So what I would suggest is make a list of all the political parties and the years that they were created, and also their leaders, because that's super relevant for the test. All right, so there's a bit of a shift in the top 5. Ricardo is holding his number 1 spot. Mud is at number 2, CB number 3, now on the podium. Kehus number 4, and Din M is back at number 5. 3 players reach an answer streak of 22.
Excellent.
All right, 15 questions to go and we're done with this. So under the First World War, Denmark was neutral. In the Second World War, they were not. But in the first one, they were. So on to the next one. The 9 people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. 3 players have reached an answer streak of 23. You guys are doing really well. Round of applause. I don't know who the 3 players are, but you're doing really well. Keep up the good work. All right, next one. All right. For the 4 people that got this wrong, the question is about when Denmark was occupied by Germany in 1940, the Germans, so unlike all the other countries that the Germans occupied, they didn't go in there and overthrow the governments. They came into Denmark and they didn't overthrow the government, and instead they asked the Danish government to work in partnership with them. And that was, I think that was Denmark was the only country where that happened. But anyways, now you know what you don't know, the 4 people that got this wrong. On to the next one. CB is now at number 2 on the podium. Mud fell to number 3. Kehus is still at number 4, and Magud is now at number 5. 3 players reached an answer streak of 4.
Excellent.
On to the next one. So, yeah, only 2 people got this wrong. The question is talking about after the Second World War, Denmark got some economic help from the United States under something called the Marshall Plan. And this was to help rebuild. So a lot of countries in Europe actually got funds from the United States under this plan to help rebuild Europe after the war, because a lot of the infrastructure had been destroyed during the war. So that's what this question is about. For the 2 people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. Ricardo has the highest answer streak of 33. We're past the halfway mark. He has 100% and he's on fire. So I'm quite happy to give him this. Congratulations, man. Not sure, this is not the first time he does an explosion, right? In any event, congratulations. On to the next one. I just mentioned this. So if you were listening, you should know the answer to this. Yes, so in 1959, a group of people left the Communist Party to form the Socialist Party. And I talked about that in the previous question. So the Socialist Party was created in 1959. And like I said before, make a list of all the parties the years that they were created, and their leaders, because that's super relevant for the test, okay? So static top 5, 3 players reach an answer streak of 5. We've got 11 questions to go. Okay, so 1972, there was a referendum on whether or not Denmark should join the EU. Majority of Danes voted yes, and in 1973, Denmark joined the EU. Back then, it was called European Fellesskab, which is basically translates to European Union in English. Okay, 6 players hit an answer streak of 5. Static top 5, nothing is going on there. 10 questions to go. Let's see. Okay, so in the 1970s, there was a lot of grassroots movements. That's what this question is about. And one of them was against nuclear weapons in the 1970s. This is the reason why Denmark actually has no nuclear weapons. All right, I hope that made sense. 8 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Like I always say, read the question slowly, understand the question, understand what they're asking about, and then go ahead and answer the question, okay? Next one. 3 players hit an answer streak of 8.
Excellent.
We've got 9 questions to go and we're done. Okay, 10 people got this wrong. This question is about the type of democracy in Denmark, right? So it's a representative democracy. That means that the people vote for candidates that are members of a political party. And most political parties in Denmark have some kind of ideological leaning, okay? And once you vote those candidates into parliament, the politicians make the decisions, not you. And every 4 years, you decide whether or not you want those politicians to continue in their job, which is the reason why there's an election every 4 years, a parliamentary election every 4 years. Okay? Hope that made sense. The 10 people that got this wrong, I hope now you know what you don't know. You're probably going to see this again at some point, so get to know. Kehus is now on the podium. CB is on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
37 correct answers in a row.
Wow!
On to the next one. Okay, so the leader of the government in Denmark is called the Prime Minister, Statsminister. Okay? In the UK, it's called the Prime Minister. In America, it's called the President. So it's called different things in different countries, right? And in Denmark, it's called Statsminister. That's what this question is about. CB has a streak with 38 correct answers in a row. Wow. Round of applause. That's a perfect score. 7 questions to go. right, so the question is about, should there be a definite number of ministers in a government? And in Denmark, the answer is no. It's up to the prime minister to choose his or her ministers. And sometimes one minister can be in charge of more than one ministry, sometimes up to 3. So that's what this question is about. So the 7 people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. Kehus is no longer on the podium. Mud is back on the podium at number 3. Den M is back in the game, 3 in a row, and he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
All right, we've got 6 questions to go and we're done. All right, so the question is asking about if the prime minister can decide to have an election, even if the minimum of 4 years, sorry, the maximum of 4 years hasn't passed. And the answer is yes. Why would they want to do this? Sometimes, you know, the prime minister might feel like running a new election if they feel they can get a majority. So if they can win more seats in that election. This rarely happens. This hasn't happened, well, not that I know of. It hasn't happened in Denmark since I was living here anyways, but it happened in the UK during, I think, after Brexit. So that's what this is about. 5 questions to go. Zohal is back in the game with an answer streak of 3, and he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. So it's asking, is there, basically, can someone be elected to parliament more than one time? And the answer is yes. Basically, that's what this is about. There's not much else to say about that. Kehus dropped to number 5, Magu at number 4 now. Kehus is on fire though.
Oh my! He's on fire!
4 questions to go. Okay, so this question is asking about suggestions, law suggestions submitted to Parliament. And each law suggestion, after it gets a minimum number of signatures, has to be debated by Parliament 3 times. That's the minimum number of times it has to be debated before it's signed into law, if it passes those debates, right? The 8 people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. Important question, so get to know this. Static top 5. Rish is making a comeback with 3 in a row.
Oh my! He's on fire!
3 questions to go. So everybody can observe meetings in the parliaments. So you can just walk in there from off the street and go and observe the meetings as they're going on. You're not allowed to say anything though. You're not allowed to speak. It's open to the public. Next one. We've talked about this, so hopefully you all get this right. If you do, I give you an explosion. Let's see how you guys do on this. Well, yeah, it's self-explanatory, right? The 3 people that got this wrong, please. Now you know what you don't know. Make a list of the responsibilities of the state, the communes, and the regions, okay? Last question, static top 5. At the moment, we have Ricardo, CB, Mud, Magu, and Kehus in the top 5. Last question. I briefly talked about this in one of the previous questions as well. Okay, so it's the unions and, well, the Arbeitsgiver Organization that have the collective bargaining about people's salaries in the different sectors. All right, let's have a look at the podium. Mud, perfect score. CB, perfect score as well, and Ricardo, perfect score. Yes, okay. So number 4 and 5, Magu and Kehus. Please, if you're in this top 5, send me your full name that you use on Facebook so I can tag you when I post up these results. Let's see how everyone else did. Have a look at that report. Okay, that was better than the Melbo escapes pawn. That's encouraging. All right, let's have a look. So you need 80% to pass. Okay, so from here, FZAR, Jin, SD, Valentina, RR, Mansour, PO, Ash, la-di-da-di-da. I'm not going to go down this whole list. But if you didn't do well, like I always say, do not despair. There's still a lot of time to practice. Now, how do you do that, right? nearlydanish.com. You will find all the quizzes. Okay? If you're taking Infosats Pawn, you can find the book for that here. Click on that. If you want to see the quizzes, you click on this, right? And you will see everything from the previous exams and quizzes for each chapter. This current affairs has not been updated yet, so ignore everything that you find in there. This is videos for Danish values, okay? If you click on that, you will see a bunch of things in here about Danish values. Click on that, it's a video, you can watch it, okay? When we get closer to the exam, I will start talking about Danish values. But now, we're focusing on the history. As we get closer to the exam, we start talking about current affairs and Danish values.